Today is gonna be one of those days. I think it's time for the hammock. It's a perfect day for it. It's not raining, it's not too sunny. Oh, yeah. Not quite sure why they sell beer imported from Holland in Vanuatu. It's gonna be a good day though. Oh. You know, it's funny, we've been cruising for over 3.5 years now, and the salt water and the sun is just brutal out here on a sailboat, and we've had to almost replace everything on this boat. So when you get days like today, it's pretty awesome. Have a beer or two up here, watch the world go by.
Hey dude, we got a small problem over here. Water pump isn't working. Not good. Can you come take a look, please?
Like the day you think you get an afternoon off. Let's get this done with and then we'll go right back to the hammock. Fiberglass tape. Yes. God, where's that? It's gotta be in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. You know what? I might as well do a parts episode. I'm gonna have to pull all this out anyways.
Ben? What on earth are you doing?
I'm making a parts movie.
You're what?
I can't find the water pump, so I thought I'd just make a spare parts movie.
You've got to be kidding me. This is gonna be epic. Well, let's see how he goes. Are you sure about this?
I have a lot of spare parts. It's excessive. Our people want to know, man.
Have you seen this disgusting mess of a hole he's got down here?
It's my garage, man. Spare prop. Dinghy spare prop.
That's the stuff he doesn't show everyone. It's the stuff you probably should have, and he'll probably be down here about 20 more times grabbing it out for you, so stay tuned. These are really good cookies. They're arrowroot.
They're like a little dusty, eh?
Cheers. I really like arrowroot cookies.
You done?
Oh, I gotta chew still.
I'm a very efficient chewer. You ready?
No.
What's wrong? You're fine. They can't see from this far away.
I'm ready.
Do you know how many spare parts we have?
I don't know. Let's see what we got.
Let's see.
What does that mean? That's pretty magic.
Dude, man, this hose.
It's growing out of your head.
It's sewage hose. Well, cheers. Cheers to parts.
Whoops-a-daisy.
All right, where do we start?
Let's start with the very most important stuff, like the critical items.
So after 3 years of being out here, yeah, I've collected a lot of spare parts. Not because I'm like a klepto, but because every time we go to buy parts, I'll just buy 2.
You get what he's saying, like, you don't want to be caught with your pants down out there.
Yeah, you do. Pants down's good.
And don't freak out, you're gonna be fine. If you leave with only like a shoestring and a toothpick and you can go like this, oh, you can do it. You'll be fine, for the most part. But you might want to cruise next to someone like us, because we won't go over all of it probably, but we'll post a full list on Patreon that you can go and check out if you're a patron. All our spare parts if you want the proper list.
We have this stuff because we've just worked on our boat a lot over the last 3 years. You're not gonna have that stuff when you're first buying a boat. There's no way you know what to buy. Realistically, you just need to have some stuff to jerry-rig.
We're gonna break things into 3 categories. What are they, Ben?
Critical. Second category,
you should probably have it. But if you don't, we might forgive you and still be your friends.
we'll call it important bits.
What is the third category?
meh. We'll call it meh. Don't really need it. Don't really use it much. Takes up space. Ashley, tell me, like, why are spare parts even important? Like, why do I need them?
Dude, we've met so many people that are stuck. Like, stuck where they are. Like, stuck in a port, and it's not a place you necessarily want to be for a long time. Like, weeks to months. Because they can't get the spare part that they need in. That sucks bad.
That's probably the biggest problem with spare parts is, yes, you can get them, but it's going to take you time to get it there via air freight. Then it's going to take you time to clear through customs. Some of these countries are not happy with you shipping in spare parts. And then third, you have to get yourself to a port where there's actually like an airport where you can fly stuff into.
And your boat could be dead in the water. So there's a lot of things that are nice to have, critical, meh. But the critical things are epic if you don't have the pain that you suffer because of it. It can induce misery. So looking around us, you might think that, holy smoke, if I were to go out and buy all that stuff, would it cost me a small fortune?
Yep.
And is this stuff expensive?
Why are you laughing?
Because boats are so expensive.
Simple answer is yes. These things cost money. This filter is probably like 20 bucks.
Okay, it depends on where you buy it. But
this is a Raker fuel filter. This is a engine oil filter. It's probably about 40 bucks. West Systems resin, I don't know, 50 bucks. Everything costs money. But the thing is, some of these things you're going to spend money on anyways because you have to do maintenance to continue sailing, to continue using your engines. You might as well carry some spares. Spares that you're going to then cycle through for oil changes, belt changes, fuel filter changes, and
that's my anchor bell roller. Those things get chewed up. Who knew? Okay, if you're only going out for 3 months, forget about it. Just pay someone to come and fix your boat. But if you're gonna be out here for 3 years plus, you're gonna need this stuff. Don't do that. You can't put that on the film.
I got burps, man. I got beer burps.
See that? Okay.
So critical bits, water maker, propulsion, sails, rigging, keeping the water out, and beer.
No, it's not critical.
Probably rank that the top of the list.
Beer is not the top of the list. But you need a beer to continue through the rest of this episode, so you should probably go grab one.
So we're gonna move through the boat in an orderly fashion, and we're gonna start at the engines, then the transmissions, the toilets, the bilges, the water system, the electrical, the dinghy repair, which is floating right back there, the standing rigging, the running rigging, and sails.
Because it sucks when they don't work.
Okay, so starting with the engines, we're gonna start with
Do we need to clear some space?
Yeah, let's start by clearing some space. Hold on.
Okay, we're ready. Can I sit back and relax and watch the ride? Low ride, ride a little lower.
What does that have to do with it?
I don't know.
You're crazy. Oh, we watched Gone in 60 Seconds yesterday. Awesome movie. Love that movie.
Let's talk about the main engine part first, shouldn't we? Like, how do I start an engine if there's no starter? Like,
this is a spare starter we carry on board, and we used it in Bahamas. And then we didn't repair it till we got to Panama. Switching out a starter is super easy. It's 2 bolts to switch out a starter, maybe like 3 connections, and you're done. You might as well carry a spare starter. You'll probably go through one anyways.
They're easy to rebuild, but they're not easy to rebuild in like Bimini or wherever the heck we were in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. In Panama, it took us like half a day to find the place. It was like 10 bucks in 10 minutes and the starter was fixed. That is worth the investment.
In order to run your engine, you need fuel, air, compression, and cooling, maybe lubrication.
What are the critical things that you would say you want to carry as a spare for your engine?
I'd carry a spare prop, the dinghy as well. We have an old dinghy prop. Second off, we carry a lot of fuel filters because these clog up out here. Thirdly, we carry impellers. They're rubbery things with little wings on them. Impellers tend to break, and if they break, you're no longer cooling your engine.
Carry extra lubricants.
Lots of coolant, lots of engine oil. If you have an oil leak, you can just keep topping it off until you get to a port. Spare belts. These don't really tend to go that often. They're still nice to have because you're gonna probably do them in an annual maintenance. And spare oil filters.
We've had a few problems with fuel. We have replaced our filters to be bigger Raycor filters. We originally had the small ones and we switched to the larger ones. Inevitably in like the worst time that these sort of clog up and your engine goes, it just stops running. Like usually motoring into waves trying to get somewhere.
Tank's gonna get stirred up and it's gonna bring the debris up. Fuel filters are really important out here. Fuel is dirty out here. Quick side note here. Out here, you will find there are lots of diesel engines. So we're talking tractors, backhoes.
Fishing boats everywhere.
Fishing
They're
boats.
all diesel.
Yeah. Yes, they will have fuel filters, but they're not gonna have specialized oil for your transmissions.
I don't know, it seems really simple for engines. Is that all?
These are the basics. We're just telling you what you need to do to get to the next port.
One thing that might be important to say is that if you don't do your own maintenance, don't let the guy who's doing it for you throw out that old working part. I mean, we do maintenance every year where we replace these impellers every year, but we keep some of the old ones. Keep your old belt if it's just fine, but you're doing preventative maintenance, because this could be a good spare if you have a major issue.
Finally, this is generic gasket material. I've used some of this before. This is actually a thermostat gasket I built. You can buy this at your regular auto shop. In contrast to buying like a Yanmar gasket for the thermostat, which is, I don't know, probably $40 to $80.
Everything's over 50 in Yanmar.
You can make your own and they work perfectly fine. You just need to get yourself some generic gasket material. Okay, moving on. Make sure you carry lots of the specified sail drive oil for your sail drive. This is not something you're going to find everywhere. You will find diesel engine oil, diesel fuel filters, but not specialized transmission sail drive oil.
So we're moving into the bilges. And not all of these pumps are in the bilges, but let's talk pumps.
First off, you got your bilge pumps. We carry a spare bilge pumps. These tend to clog up and stop.
We've had so many bust on us. Second off, water pump.
To get water out of your freshwater tank into your sink, onto your body, into your cup.
Let me tell you how uncool it is when you turn on the tap and nothing happens.
And then finally, we carry multiple small booster pumps for both the water maker and the fridge.
The biggest pump we have on the boat is probably the water maker pump, and it's a whole nother machine. You might want to carry some spares for your water maker. Every water maker is so different. Ours is an Aquatech. Talk to your dealer, get the parts that they recommend, and carry them as spares.
Should we lose the shades? It's getting dark, man. That's better. Let's talk just briefly about autopilots. They steer your boat. Auto, we call them auto. If you lose your autopilot, it's not so cool, especially when you're doing a 19-day passage. Different kinds of autopilots. There's wind vanes, hydraulic autopilots. Again, you should talk to your autopilot manufacturer. I don't carry a spare auto, but I do carry spare fluid. Ours is a hydraulic one in case we develop a leak, so I can top it off. Okay, moving on. We've talked about engines, transmissions, pumps, freshwater system. Let's talk about electrical system. And I'm not a Sparky. I am not a Sparky.
Oh, he is so not a Sparky. I am not an expert. He said that a few times.
That's my default out. But I carry some basic stuff. Crimps, connectors, electrical tape, wire, heat shrink, Euro connectors, and more connectors, and a soldering iron. I don't think you actually need to carry this, just came with the boat. And I carry a fuse kit, which I haven't really used, because you shouldn't really be blowing fuses, and a voltmeter. A voltmeter is really important because you want to be able to diagnose these things. But if you don't know how to use it, it's kind of like meh. The thing to remember is there's lots of other cruisers out here. Lots of them are engineers, some of them are doctors, mechanics maybe. So if you have the parts, you're gonna find someone that is gonna be able to help you put them in or figure out your problem. So carry your spares, but then maybe you don't need all the tools to put them in, or you don't need all the knowledge to put them in. You'll find people out here that will do it. You're not gonna find a spare fresh water pump in some atoll, but you will find someone that will help you put it in.
Agreed. Okay, so let's now talk about dinghies. Your dinghy is like your car. When your car breaks down, you're stuck. If you have an inflatable and it has a hole, it sucks. It sucks bad. We had a hole in ours, a little teeny tiny pinprick hole, and we were basically pumping our dinghy up every day. If you have a Hypalon dinghy, nothing will stick to it. We've tried everything because we ran out of this.
This is Hypalon glue that we got in Vanuatu at a life raft repair place, but you need Hypalon glue if you have a Hypalon dinghy. 5200 and other goops are not going to stick so well. So have something to fix your dinghy with.
Get a patch, get the glue. Make sure you have it.
Make sure you have an extra pull cord, maybe some spark plugs. If it's like an older dinghy engine, have a spare impeller. We have a spare prop for a dinghy engine because you do run into reefs with your dinghy. The thing to remember is dinghies get a lot of abuse from beaches, spear guns, humans.
Kiteboards.
Have something to repair yours. Okay, we gotta go quick because we're running out of battery. So standing and running rigging. Standing rigging is your shrouds, your forestay, your backstay, all the wires, and then running rigging is all your ropes. A few extra blocks, lots of extra shackles, different sizes of Dyneema rope, also known as Spectra, used to jerry rig lots of things. Lots of soft shackles. We love soft shackles. These are batten boxes from old mainsails. We have a sail repair kit, and then we also carry like a huge piece of...
Oh, you got to get your hands on this. This stuff is critical.
Sticky back Dacron sail repair tape.
It's got us through the last year because without it, our mainsail was hooped and we needed it. They don't like to sell this stuff. Find someone to sell this to you and get it before you go.
And I have like boxes of just random bits. Inside them I'll have clevis pin and cotter pins and pins and split rings and all sorts of stuff. So just a general assortment of stuff, tidbits and bits and bobs. And then finally, think about your toys. So you're gonna have an inflatable paddleboard, maybe inflatable kayaks, stand-up paddleboards. Maybe you're a kiteboarder. You're gonna need some like bladder repair materials, spare valves,
bike tire pump
things. If you do scuba, just think about your toys. Think about what you need
like,
for your toys. Okay, next.
So let's talk toilets.
Joker valves, man. Joker valves are not a joke. These things let the poop out and don't let the water back in.
What happens when they go?
Water comes in the toilet and then your balls touch the water.
It's not good. If you sit down because it's a passage and your butt's hitting the water, it's not good. So yeah, the Joker valves are seriously important.
Get yourself some like Jabsco repair kits.
If you don't have a Yabsco, pretty much Yabscos are universal out here. If you don't have a Yabsco and have some weird other toilet, you should probably buy your spares at home because Yabsco's available all over the world in various price points. This thing can go between, you know, like $30 and $500 probably somewhere. We
carry a variety of goops. Anything from like silicones, high heat gasket maker, JB Weld. What is this even? Water weld, plastic weld, crazy glue. So these are all things that are like available in your local automotive store. It's really interesting when you end up using these is usually when you're just trying to jerry rig something to get to the next port. These things are like the most valuable thing you can have out here. Goops. Goops for gluing fiberglass, metal, plastic, rubber. Just carry goops to glue stuff. You want to glue stuff back together.
I use this to glue my toenail on. What are some of the nice to have so that you've gone...
Plastic weld. JB plastic weld is really nice to have.
That's what we use to fix the hatches, glue the handles back on the hatches.
Epoxy is really nice to have. You can reinforce a lot of stuff. You can fix a lot of stuff. But it's a nice to have. I know what's nice to have.
Okay, we forgot to talk about one thing, spare line. Okay, so when we were talking running and standing rigging, we forgot to mention lines. Okay, so for the example, the other day we were sailing in Fiji and our furler broke. So we were luckily able to like tie a knot and get it back in, but then you had to replace it because that rope runs through all these little things that you can't have a knot going through. So luckily we carry a lot of spare line, like retarded amounts of spare line. Good thing is it's really good for trading out here in the South Pacific. They want it for their cows and their hammocks and their God knows what. I don't know what they use it for, but they love it. Carry spare line, keep all your old line when you replace something, never throw that out. It is like the best thing in the world.
In order to get out here and be confident, you need to gain some confidence by taking some courses maybe. I took a small diesel engine course before I left home. Highly recommend it. There's probably a similar course at your local college. If nothing else, at least you have the confidence to know that whether you're up shit creek or not.
So one of the things that you definitely want to have on your bookshelf to help you with some of these repairs is Nigel Calder's books. He's got like the Bible of like fix-it books. I think he's got a few. He's got one about diesel engines, and then I think he has another one with diesel engines and also electrical. We have the diesel engine one. We probably should have the electrical one because we totally suck at it. You should have these on your bookshelf when you set sail because eventually you'll end up consulting it and it's awesome. They're awesome. Okay, so when you buy your boat, it's gonna come with stuff. Unless it's brand new and then you're on your own. So we were really grateful for the previous owner's preparedness, and our boat came with a ton of spare parts, which was so awesome. Hopefully yours will too, but you definitely need to go through that. And if you can, talk to your previous owner. The other thing that we did when we first bought the boat, which we felt really helped us get ready for long-term cruising, was to go for a short-term cruise. So
we took the boat as is. We just loaded it up with beer and food and took it off to the Bahamas, from Florida to the Bahamas for
3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
3.5 months?
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the way we wanted it, but after those 3 months, we actually knew how the boat worked, knew what needed to be replaced. So taking the boat out and actually using it makes the world of difference in terms of what you need to buy in terms of spares and what you need to fix before you go long-term cruising.
Just another couple tips that we have is if you're not into doing your own work, some of you aren't. We are, mostly to save money. Sometimes it costs us money, but most of the time it saves us money. It's still worth watching over the people doing the work for you, because you may be in a position where you then have to revisit what was done in the middle of nowhere, and you can also learn something from the tradespeople that come and help you. I'd say be on site when you're getting work done to just try and absorb as much.
Ask questions.
Yeah, you don't have to be an expert, but you can learn a lot from these people, and they're usually super like friendly and kind of want to share their knowledge with you.
You got to think about it like the Volvo Ocean Race guys, you know, it's a team and they don't get on that boat and go and sail around the ocean. They slowly start to get to know each other. They slowly get to know the boat and they start to work together as a team. You need to do the same thing with your boat. Get to know how the systems work and then start working on it. Doing some of the smaller repairs, do some oil changes, do some filter changes, and don't overthink it. At the end of the day, just go cruising, because the best teacher out here is mistakes, and we've made a lot of them. We've made a lot of mistakes. 99.999% of the time, they're not that bad. They're just embarrassing.
Yeah, one comes to mind. Diesel in the gas.
What?
Who did that?
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, the time I put diesel into the 4-stroke gas engine.
Yeah, you know what? It ran really good after that. After we, of course, took all the diesel out of it. Shit'll happen out here. It's gonna happen. Things will break. It's guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. And you meet awesome friends fixing things. You learn a ton from other people.
Duct tape, man. Just get some duct tape. You ever seen that Red Green show? It's awesome. It's Canadian. What the hell? Duct tape.